Due to some last-minute travel arrangements, we ended up coming to the city at night via train from another town about 2 hours away. It involved a couple of trains, then a bus from the Venice train station into the edge of the city, then a walk the rest of the way, around 20 minutes. There's no cars in Venice, and gondolas are very expensive, so be ready to walk with your luggage. Being around midnight, the city was completely empty and provided some awesome photo ops on our walk. The calm was the opposite of what we expected and what we would see the next day, and honestly, a super cool way to experience Venice for the first time. A night we'll never forget. We still have some work to do in learning how to take those low light photos, but I really like the atmosphere created. As for our itinerary, we're only spending one night in Venice and leaving later the next day. I've heard people say that Venice is small and 1 to 2 days is enough for a trip. I would agree if you're a traveler who likes to check off the main sites and get your photos. I probably could have stayed longer though for a more relaxed itinerary. Getting lost in the smaller side streets could keep me entertained for a while. Next morning, this is our first chance to see the city in daylight, with a traditional gondola ride, an iconic Venice experience and also a practical mode of transport. There's about 400 licensed gondoliers who can drive you around the city. One thing that I love about Venice is the amount of small details that you can see when wandering the streets. Every church has a story, and there's tons of palaces, monuments, and plaques. This is a relief from the mid-1300s located on one of the oldest schools, and look at the intricate window frames, archways, and columns on this building. These details are awesome for history lovers and photographers alike. Okay, quick lunch break time. We just popped into a spot that looked nice from the outside, and it was pretty good. Some of the highlights were the calamari, seafood tomato pasta, and that caprese salad. So good, if a little bit small on the portion size. After lunch, we got to admire some of Venice's architecture. The buildings are different from other parts of Italy for a few reasons. For one, Venice's trading meant a lot of influence from the east, like the Greeks, Moorish, or Byzantines, and because the buildings are built on water, lighter materials are used, lots of wood and brick rather than the heavy stone buildings you might see in Rome. No visit to Venice is complete without a stop at Piazza San Marco, the most famous and biggest plaza in the city. The basilica is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. See those pointed towers and statues on top. But it also takes a lot of influence from the east. Although the domes and frescoes make it look like an Orthodox church from Greece or Turkey, it's actually a Catholic church. Beside it is the Doge's Palace. It also has a lot of Eastern influences, for example, those mosaic patterned walls. Check out also the statue of Saint Mark with the lion. So, what are my final impressions of Venice? Going in, I heard a lot about over-tourism and overcrowding. There's now a tourist tax and cruise ships are being limited in the harbor. I was kind of expecting Venice to be a small and kind of cliche city, not offering much beyond a couple famous sites. For me though, it was absolutely worth the hype. I think many people don't realize that Venice was once one of the most powerful cities in Europe. Its wealth is reflected in the buildings in Venice and in cities all around the Adriatic. If you're into history, architecture, or are just a bit of a romantic, Venice might be the city for you. There's plenty of tourist traps in Venice, but the city itself is eternal. Thanks for watching and enjoy some more afternoon photos in Venice.